Hi, everybody. How are you? If you're here, can you please let me know if you can hear me? It's the first time that I'm trying to do one of these live streams with this microphone. So I want to make sure that it's working and that you can hear me all right. I logged in a minute or two early, so I'm just going to hold on a bit. If you're here or when you're here, let me know where you're watching from. Nikki's here. Okay, good. You can hear me. Awesome. Fantastic. Hi, Jennifer. All right, good. People are joining. Yay. Yay, Leslie, you're here. I hope you got my email. Yeah. So usually we have these Friday live streams at this time on Fridays, unless something happens. Yes, Nikki, you're right. Me and technology. Yeah. You'll notice that I'm sitting in a different place today. I'm sitting at our dinette. I think it's called like our little kitchen table. Hi, everybody. Liz is there. Becca is there. Nicola's here. I'm sitting in a different spot because, oh, maybe it's a long story. I'll tell you anyway, just because we have a couple of minutes to use up here before we actually start. So school's finished now. So that means that my kids, don't have school. So we kind of did musical chairs here, and my husband moved to the room where I normally teach my classes from and do my live streams from. And my kids now are in my room. Well, one's on my bed on the computer, and the other one's right in front of me on the sofa on the computer. And so I'm here. I'm here at the dining table with a little more light, which is nice. Yeah, let me show you outside. Can you see? Oh, it's maybe too bright. Oh, you can kind of see. See, I'm at a campground. You can kind of see through my screen window, and there's some campers over there. There's a travel trailer and two fifth wheels. And this is in Tennessee. I'm in Eastern Tennessee today. And I'll be here for another week or so because we're just kind of making our way across the country. We didn't start out intending to do this long of a trip, but this is what it's turned into, and we're having fun, so it's fine. All right, well, let's get started with the topic of today. If you just joined, let me know where you are. Let me know where you're joining from. Margaret, am I seeing any cicadas? You know what? I think I heard some this morning. I haven't seen any, but I walked over. There's a pavilion at the front of the park, and I do my yoga practice over there in the morning. And when I was walking back to our camper today, off to the right side in the trees, I could hear a loud kind of, I don't know, cicada-ish sound, like a, I don't know how you call that word in English. It's like rechinando, like it's a, and it's like a this kind of sound. That's the word I'm looking for. So yeah, that's what I heard this morning. I'm guessing it maybe is cicadas. Becca's joining from South Carolina. So I'm going to be in South Carolina in a couple, 2-3 weeks, something like that, like the last week of June. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going, but maybe we can meet up. Nicola's here from England. Jennifer's from Texas. Awesome. Yeah, we'll be here, like I was mentioning, until the end of this week. And then next weekend, we're going to move from here to North Carolina, and we'll be there for a week. And then we're going to South Carolina. And I'm not exactly sure what we're doing after that, but somehow we're making our way back home to Texas. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with today's topic. Thank you all for being here. Today. Thanks all for being here today. So today I'm actually kind of organized for this live stream, and I took some time, did a little bit of homework to think about, it seems like every time that I get to talk to like have a live discussion with a person or people who follow my videos, it always makes me very happy. Like, I don't know, that's like the highlight of my whole week when I get to talk to the people who are practicing with me in one way or another. And I started to think about, what is it about talking to these folks that makes me feel so happy? And I realized that it's kind of four stages or four categories of things that I hear about that make me feel really excited about your practice and about, my work and being able to share yoga in the ways that I'm able to these days. I think without COVID, I never would have started putting so much attention into my YouTube channel. I never would have developed, my online community, which I host on Patreon. We certainly never would have put our Zoom classes online. So a whole lot has changed. in the past 15-ish months. And I'm grateful for it because now I get to connect with people all over and help people, even if I'm not face to face with them. And that's really exciting for me. So let me start to tell you about these 4 kind of stages or categories that I see people transition through. That's really exciting for me. And if you have any thoughts that you want to share, you're absolutely more than welcome to share your thoughts in the chat here. Or if you're watching this as a recording later, you can leave me notes in the comments. So the first category of people is, you can see how broadly I'm smiling. I'm super happy about all of this. But the first category of people, or the first stage that I see people move through, is people who are thrilled to have finally found a practice that they can do. Um, and I know, and you've probably heard me talk about this 100 times, but yoga is largely perceived as a exercise or a practice or a activity or a whatever you want to call it, that's meant for skinny people, skinny, young, flexible, fit people. And like, what percentage of the world is actually, young and thin and fit and flexible? Not very many. Like, most of us are more average size or bigger size. And we still want to feel well. We still want to, have enough energy to be able to do all the tasks that we need to do throughout the day. Nikki's here. Nikki, one of her stories that I'm so excited about is when she needed to paint her apartment, and she was so excited because I'm getting into another category of and stage here, but anyway, I'll tell Nikki's story. She was so excited because she was able to paint her apartment, without aches and pains, and she was able to get down to the bottom, and it didn't hurt her knees to get all the way down, and she had energy to complete that whole job. And that's a big deal. That's a really big deal when we're able to find a yoga practice that we can do, and we're actually practicing, and then we start to experience the benefits of the practice. Okay, so I kind of like jumped around a little bit there, but that first stage I think that people go through when they start practicing with my videos is that initial excitement at having found something that you can do. Yay, Nikki. Nikki's commenting there. You're welcome. But Nikki, you're the one doing the work. I'm just guiding, and you're the one showing up and doing the work. So please also give yourself a big thank you and a pat on the back for your hard work. All right. Becca's posting here. I'd love to meet up. You've inspired me so much with yoga. Oh, yay. And I've come to enjoy these classes and talks as well. Perfect. You're in that first stage. Okay, awesome. Yeah, let me figure out, Becca, if you have time, email me, because I don't know how to contact you. So email me at info@rryogaroom.com, and I will tell you once I find out the name of the town where we're going to be, and we can figure out if that's close enough that we can meet up with each other. All right. The second stage that people go through when they're practicing with my videos, and this is kind of getting into Nikki's story that I was talking about a minute ago, is people who are starting to experience health and life benefits. So when I'm talking about health benefits, I'm talking about things like, people comment or they send me a note and they say, I don't have back pain anymore. One of my private clients who I work with one-on-one, she was so thrilled when she was able to load and unload the dishwasher. Like, that's a big deal. If you have so much pain in your body that you're not able to reach down and load your dishes in and then take them back out, when they're done, and put them away, that affects your life. Like, that affects you and your well-being and your happiness on a day-to-day basis. So when we start to experience, health benefits and life benefits, like reduction of pain, being able to do new activities that you previously hadn't been able to do. Also, people experience like reduction in high blood pressure, like their blood pressure starts to go into a normal range, or their blood sugar starts to go into a normal range, and their doctors can adjust or even eliminate some medications. All of this is also, it's kind of the second stage, I would say, that people go through when they're practicing. And it's so exciting to me, because I work with people, like I've mentioned, in different ways. Some people are very self-motivated and they are very independent and disciplined, and they just go on YouTube and click a video and do their practice, and they're doing this basically all on their own, and they're getting a lot of benefit from it. all these kind of benefits that I was just mentioning. Some people like a little bit of extra guidance. Some people want a little bit more, connection and discussion with me, and they choose to join my online community, the one I mentioned, which I host on Patreon. Some people want to have regular interaction with me all the time, and want to come to the online classes, and we see each other, usually like twice a week on Zoom. And, that's one way that people practice. And then I was mentioning my client who, was able to load and unload from the dishwasher. And that's an example of someone who I've been working with one-on-one. And I think with her, we were meeting every 3 weeks. And it's probably been about 6 months that we've been working together because she had this major goal that she, wanted to address. And that was the major pain that she was having in her hip and in her low back. So anyway, lots of ways that people can work with me, and I'd be happy to work with all of you in any of those ways, if you'd like. Okay, so that's the second category of people who are experiencing health and life benefits. Here's a third category of people. Hold on, I'm getting too excited. I need some water. Katie's here now. Hi, Katie. I'm finally in the East Coast time zone with all of y'all who are in Pennsylvania and DC, and I'm not sure if South Carolina is in the East Coast time zone. All right. All right, let's continue. The third category of people who I get really excited about are category is kind of a weird word, but really it's like stage of development in your yoga practice. All right, and I need to get serious here for a minute because this is a serious topic. People who have gotten beyond the initial excitement of yoga, the newness of yoga, people who've been practicing a while, and they're starting to go deeper. So you probably have heard me talk about advanced practice. And you probably have also heard me talk about how on my channel, I tend to try to keep all of the content, like all of the videos are at a pretty much beginner level. Some of you will have noticed that I've taken some videos down over time, and that's because, I don't know, it's not hindsight's 2020, but the longer that I've been teaching and the more experience that I gain, the more I realize that some of the early stuff that I put out wasn't stuff that I wanted to continue to leave out because it was not correct. It was not appropriate. Like, it's correct teaching, but wasn't an appropriate level of instruction for the people who are most of the people who are here on my channel. So where am I going? Advanced level content and beginner level content. So this is what I mean here. People who are starting to go deeper. People who have started to understand what I mean when I talk about yoga is more than a physical practice. We can gain more than just physical benefit from yoga. When we are practicing consistently and when we are making a concerted effort to be mindful in the practice, in other words, when we're being aware of what our mind is doing and calling our mind back into the present moment rather than letting the mind wander off, not out of control, but letting the mind wander off to whatever it feels like thinking about. So these folks who are becoming very mindful, very present in their practice and starting to be more self-aware, more introspective, and starting to be aware of subtle things that are going on in their bodies, in their minds. These folks, I know that they're at this stage because of the questions they ask me. They ask me things like, I don't know, all different kind of things. Like, it could even be something related to the physical aspect of the practice, or it could be, I don't know, just all kind of subtle questions that people come up with, when they are going deeper. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll tell you that yoga is experiential, and until you have experienced some of these things that I'm talking about, you may not fully understand them. And that's normal. And I don't mean to say that to be kind of exclusionary. I just mean it as encouragement, like keep going, keep practicing, because there's a lot to learn. There's much more than yoga appears to be on the surface. I like to say that yoga is very broad, but also very deep. There's there's a lot to learn. There's lifetimes to learn in the yoga practice. So we should never think, me included, me as a teacher, I've been teaching a long time. I've been practicing 20 plus years. I'm still a beginner at yoga. So we should all, try to maintain that beginner mindset, that inquisitiveness, and that desire to keep paying attention and learning more. Okay. How is the nervous system and breathing? How are the nervous system and breathing related? Yes, that's a question. This is a great example. Thank you, Nikki. Nervous system and breathing. I think you asked me this somewhere the other day, and I guess I haven't answered it yet because I can't remember having answered it. But so let me take a pause here to answer this one, and then I'll get into the fourth stage of practice here in just a little bit. That's an example. Okay, yeah, but let me go ahead and answer it. The nervous system and breathing. So probably I could do some research and give you a better answer, but I'll just tell you off the top of my head. What what that means is what, like, the connection between the breathing and the nervous system. Okay, so in the breathing, we have the inhale component of the breath and the exhale component of the breath. The inhale component of the breath activates your sympathetic nervous system. So everyone knows we have a nervous system. There's two parts to it. There's the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response. And so, excuse me. So the point that I'm getting at is that your inhale, when you're, bringing air into your body, that's associated with your sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight response. Your exhale is associated with your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and relax response. So, in the breathing practice, in the yoga practice, we work on smoothing the inhales and the exhales, trying to keep them equal in length so that we're balancing out the nervous system. And that's what's appropriate for most people. Like most people who are like relatively healthy, physically healthy and mentally healthy. Balancing everything out, like balanced kind of breathing is appropriate for most people. Some people need a different kind of breathing to adjust their nervous systems in a little bit of a different way. So people who are very, very stressed, very anxious, like people who have extremely busy minds, can benefit from other type of breathing practices, which generally lengthen the exhale a little bit more. And on the other side, like people who are more depressed or lethargic or just kind of down, could benefit from a little bit more of the inhale aspect of the nervous system. That said, that's a very generalization. And let me give a disclaimer here and then just explain a little bit more. So when we're working on specialized breathing practices, it's very important, very valuable for you to work directly with a teacher so that they can give you the right kind of breathing practice for you. Breathing is very powerful. Another thing that we start to learn about through experience, we have to, do the breathing practices to learn how powerful they are. But because they're so powerful, it would be unwise, it would be unethical for me to, give out breathing practices to, in a video that I don't know who's going to be watching this video, and you may, misinterpret the guidance that I'm giving and end up doing something that's not appropriate or safe or healthy for you. So just know that generally the balanced breathing is good for everybody. And then if you need to do some specialized breathing, you should work with a teacher one-on-one. So hopefully that gives you some insight, Nikki, about the nervous system and the breathing. I know you asked that just as an example of, the subtle questions that people ask when they're in this stage of their practice. But anyway, I wanted to answer it because I think you asked me that the other day and I had forgotten to answer. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, good. So let's now move to the fourth stage of practice, or the fourth category of folks that I'm always excited to talk to. And this one, I don't know, excited almost sounds like the wrong word, but there is some level of excitement for me when this happens. When people have been practicing for a long time, they've already gone through the stage where they have found the practice that works for them. They're practicing consistently. They're experiencing the health and life benefits, and they are going deeper in their practice. Everything's going great. They're feeling amazing. They're, happy, and they have good energy, and they don't have aches and pains in their body, and everything's going great. They're eating healthier, like sleeping well, like it's all amazing. Everything's good. And then guess what? They feel so well that they're like, oh, I can scale back on my yoga practice. It's either conscious or unconscious. Sometimes life just happens and you get busy and you're like, oh, I'm feeling great. It's okay. I can skip my yoga practice today. These are the people, the fourth category or the fourth stage of practice that I want to highlight and be excited about today, because um, it's a real thing, and I think it'll happen to all of us. It happens to me all the time. I'm feeling well. um, there's some other urgent priorities that come up, and I say, okay, I'm going to skip my practice today because I need to take care of this other thing. And then before you know it, it's 2 days and 3 days and 4 days that I've missed my practice. And then I suddenly start to actually not feel that well after all. Back pain starts to creep in. I become more irritable. My mind is more scattered. Like, you maybe have experienced these things too, either you've before you found yoga, or maybe you have been in this stage of your practice before too, where you kind of fall off the wagon, stop your practice for a while, and then it can be really hard to get back on track. And so I want to recognize these people, because it's a continuum, and this is going to happen throughout life. And I think it's important for us to recognize that this does happen, and it's okay, and you can get back on track. It will take some work, but you can get back on track. And yeah, again, here, when someone is at this stage of practice, like they've already been practicing for a while, they may feel that they should know how to get themselves back on track. Like they've been practicing long enough that they should, in their mind, be able to get themselves reorganized and back on their yoga practice. But sometimes people are too close to the problem. For me too, like all of this applies to everybody, me included. Sometimes we're too close to the problem and we can't identify how to solve it. And so for this, when you're at this stage of practice, again, it's beneficial to work with your teacher so that they can ask you some questions and help you to figure out what exactly, has gotten out of sync. What exactly should you do to get yourself back on track? So even if that sounds like something that could be stressful for the person who's practicing, and maybe even a little stressful for the yoga teacher, it's not actually stressful for the yoga teacher. It's actually fine, and I'm really happy to talk to these people to help them get back on track. Because if you stay in that kind of rut too long, you start to kind of feel bad about yourself, like, oh, I was doing so great, everything, I was doing my yoga practice and feeling great, and now look what I've done. And then you start to feel bad, and that's not helpful at all. It's not helpful to feel bad about yourself. So it's good to, as soon as you recognize that there's a problem, talk to your teacher, give me a call if you want to, and we can have a call together, and I'll help you figure out what you need to do to get yourself back on your consistent yoga practice. So that is the 4 stages of practice that I see, with the people who are practicing with me in all the different kind of ways. And yeah, I'm always happy to talk with the people who are watching my videos, watching my videos or practicing with me in any kind of way. So please always feel welcome to reach out if you, until now have just been watching my videos and you've been getting, plenty of instruction and all the information you need from the videos. That is great. But when you're ready to start taking it to the next level, you can let me know and I'll give you some guidance. Or you can look at, I think now under all of my videos, I have the link, which is the Work With Me link, and you can read about the different ways that you can work with me. So when you're ready for, or you're interested in having more guidance and working a little bit closer with me, you can check that out and see, which one looks like it would be the right fit for you. Yeah. All right. So that's everything that I have for today. I wanted to share that with you, just so that you would know, like, we're all at a certain stage in our yoga practice. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of let you know from my perspective what I'm seeing, so that if you start to, see yourself in one of these kind of situations, like you kind of know where you are in your path of yoga. Yeah, and this is just kind of like the basic path, but of course there can be meandering side paths. But these are yeah, these are situations that I come across really frequently when I get to talk to folks. Yeah, all right, good. So any questions today about any of these topics or anything else? Anything related to your practice? While I give you some time to type in any notes if you want to in the chat, I'll tell you that I recorded a new video for y'all this week. It will come out on Monday, and I'm really excited about it. Um, I'm really excited because of a few things. One is the scenery is really good and the lighting is good, but also it's a different kind of video. I haven't done one like this before. It's about improving your balance, and I don't even know exactly how long it will be, but I think it's a pretty cool video that you'll enjoy. All right, Nikki is saying, I think the difference between other exercises and your yoga practice is community. I don't feel alone in my yoga journey. Every Wednesday and Monday, I get to hang out with other people like me. Yeah, that's really true. That's really true. And that's a good point. In fact, the first part of what you mentioned here, Nikki, is something that I had thought about earlier. And I was like, I need to make sure to mention that. And then I forgot. One thing that we start to recognize, when we've practiced yoga for a while, like when we're in, I would say, like the second stage and moving into the third stage, we start to understand that other exercise is exercise and yoga is yoga. And the difference between them is that yoga includes the aspect of mindfulness. So if we think about, for example, I don't know, basketball. If you're playing basketball, that's a form of exercise. When you're playing basketball, you are looking around, you're seeing your teammates, you're seeing the defensive players, and you're strategizing in your head, and you're, taking actions based on the sensory inputs that you're getting, the sounds and the sights and all of that. And so that is it's an exercise with thinking. But in the yoga practice, it's different. It's I don't know, maybe that isn't the greatest example. That was my son. Um, in the yoga practice, you're moving and purposefully trying to not have sensory inputs. You're purposefully trying to block out the sensory inputs and just be aware of what's going on with you. Finding one thing to focus on. And in the Krishnamacharya style of practice, it's typically coordinating the pace of the breath and the pace of the movement. And so that's how we get to, the mental and the subtle benefits of the practice, because we're making a concerted effort and we're refining our ability to be mindful. Yeah. All right, let's see. Leslie says, if people are taking part in sports or other forms of exercise, would you recommend yoga before or after or both? I usually do my yoga before I go to the gym as it loosens me up. Yeah, it could go either way. For some people, it might be beneficial to do the yoga practice first to, like you say, loosen up the body. For other people, it may be more beneficial to do your exercises first. Like it may be like, I'm going to go for a power walk, or I'm going to, I don't know, whatever it is. I'm going to do my aerobics class or my step class or whatever. And then afterward, I'm going to do my yoga practice because I'm taking that story a little bit too far, but the category of people or the type of person that would be more appropriate for are people who have very, very tight muscles, who are interested in improving their flexibility. It's beneficial to warm your muscles up first and then do your yoga practice so that you can get more flexibility benefits from the yoga practice. So it could go either way. It just depends on, each individual person. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, very good. All right, good. Any other questions? Everybody good? All right. So Becca, let me know. Send me an email. Let me know where you are so we can see if we can meet up in the next couple of weeks. And if you are in Eastern Tennessee, or if you're in near the coast in North Carolina, let me know, and maybe we too can meet up because I'll be in those places in the next week or two. All right. Well, thank you everybody for being here. If you found this live stream helpful in any kind of way, I would very much appreciate if you would click the like button. I can't even see my own like button, but if you would click it, that's helpful because it tells YouTube to share the video with more people. Thank you for doing that. And if you haven't already, please remember to subscribe, and also it's like a 3-step thing. You have to subscribe and click your notification bell, and also make sure you go into the settings or something and turn on your notifications. That way, when I post a video, you'll get an alert from YouTube. And when I schedule a live stream, you'll get an alert from YouTube. And I think also when I make community posts, you'll see those as well. So yeah, that's how you do that. All right. Well, thank you everybody again. I will see you next week with a different topic, and keep an eye out for the new video that's coming on Monday. All right. Have a good one. See you later. Bye.